Questions. My dear friends, today I want to begin with a simple observation. Humans upgrade everything except themselves. We upgrade our phones every year, our wardrobes every season, questions. Our cars every 3 to 5 years. But when was the last time we said, let me upgrade me? And that is why our gadgets get smarter. But sometimes we don't. Questions. There was once a man who went to a shop and said, Bhaiya, do you have anything that will make me look smart? The shopkeeper said, Sir, questions. Intelligence is sold next door in the library. Our friends, self-improvement is not a trend. It's a lifestyle. It's not something you do for a month. It's something you carry for life. Questions. Once a king announced that anyone who brought him the greatest treasure would be rewarded handsomely. People brought gold, diamonds, rubies. But one little boy came with a small box. The king asked questions. The boy said, A mirror, your majesty. The king was confused. Why a mirror? The boy replied, Because the greatest treasure is the one looking back at you. Yourself. Questions. But we spend our whole lives polishing the world and never polishing the person in the mirror. The king immediately rewarded him. My friends, self-improvement is the polishing of that mirror. Questions. Not once, not twice, continually. In today's world, we compare our behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. Someone posts a picture in Bali, and you're sitting at home thinking, questions. Mera life to khatam ho gaya. But remember, the only person you need to be better than is the one you were yesterday. Put your energy not in comparison, but in correction. Questions. Not in jealousy, but in journey. Not in competition, but in contribution. A famous story tells of a man who had 2 pots, one perfect, one cracked, every day while bringing water. Questions. The cracked pot would leak. It felt ashamed and said, I'm useless. The owner smiled and said, Look at the path you walk. One side was dry. The cracked pot side was full of flowers. Questions. I planted seeds on your side, he said, because I knew you would leak water. Your flaw became your gift. Or friends, self-improvement doesn't mean eliminating your flaws. Questions. It means converting them into flowers. No seed becomes a tree without breaking the shell. No butterfly emerges without breaking the cocoon. No human grows without breaking their comfort zone. Questions. Your comfort zone is nicey, but nothing grows there. Your improvement zone is challenging, but everything grows there. So if life feels difficult, congratulations. You're growing. Questions. Every night ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I learn today? What did I improve today? Who did I help today? These 3 transform ordinary days into extraordinary progress. Questions. Some people say, I know everything. Then life says, Akhya, test lead hein. The biggest obstacle to growth is ego. The day you think you've arrived is the day you stop growing. Questions. Stay humble. Stay teachable. A mind that is open to learning will always rise. Once a storm hit a forest. The mighty oak tree stood firm. Strong, rigid, proud. The bamboo bent with the wind. Questions. After the storm, the oak had fallen. The bamboo stood tall again. Why? Because the oak resisted, the bamboo adapted. If you want to grow, if you want to improve, learn to adapt, adjust. Questions. And stay flexible. Life is not about being strong only. It's about being strong at the right time and flexible at the right time. People say, questions. I'll start improving when I have time. But have you noticed? Time never comes. You have to make time. The best time to improve yourself was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. Questions. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you will start complaining. If you surround yourself with people who criticize, questions, you will start criticizing. But if you surround yourself with people who grow, you will start growing. Remember, your circle is your ecosystem. Choose wisely. My dear friends, questions. We will invest billions into buildings, technology, and machines for the future. But the greatest investment we will ever make is in improving ourselves. Because when you improve yourself, questions, you think better, you feel better, you live better, and you inspire others to do the same. So I ask you today, promise yourself that you will never stop improving, not for applause, questions, not for competition, but because you deserve to meet the best version of yourself, and that version is waiting for you. Thank you. Stay inspired, stay growing, stay blessed. Questions. In today's world, we live in a cycle of upgrades. Every few months, a new phone arrives with a better camera, a sharper display, a faster processor. Questions. And suddenly our perfectly fine device feels outdated. So what do? We rush to buy the new one. We treat a gadget like a priority and treat our own growth like an option. Questions. But imagine if we applied the same enthusiasm, the same excitement, the same urgency toward upgrading ourselves. Think of this: when your phone hangs or slows down, you immediately get irritated. Questions. You clean the storage, uninstall unnecessary apps, update the software, or worst case scenario, buy a new phone. But when your mind hangs, when old habits slow you down, questions, when negative thoughts drain your energy, when procrastination weakens your drive, how quickly do you react? Most people wait for years before they decide to upgrade their mindset, their habits, questions, or their life. Daily life offers thousands of moments where we see the need for self-upgrade, but we often ignore them. Let's take a simple example. Suppose you're stuck in traffic. Questions. You see someone on the next bike or car blasting their horn impatiently, as if the sound could magically part the traffic like the Red Sea. You might even get irritated yourself. Questions. That moment is not about traffic. It is an opportunity to upgrade your patience. Life gives us countless small windows for improvement. Waiting in line at the supermarket. Questions. Dealing with a difficult colleague, managing a delay, handling a rude comment from someone. These everyday experiences are like pop-up notifications telling us, update available. Questions. New version of you ready to install. But like most phone users, we keep pressing, remind me later. Think of how passionately people stand in long queues for new gadgets. Midnight launches, questions, pre-bookings, unboxing rituals. So much excitement. Yet when was the last time you felt that excitement about improving your communication skills? Questions. When was the last time you felt thrilled to learn a new skill, read a book that challenges you, or break a bad habit? If we gave ourselves the same priority that we give to a device, questions, our lives would transform. Look at fitness for a moment. If your phone battery shows 20%, you start panicking. But when your body shows low energy, low stamina, or mounting stress, questions, many people still don't prioritize exercise or healthy habits. Imagine if we had a health percentage floating above us like a battery indicator. Questions. People would instantly start upgrading their diet, sleep, and routine. But because we don't have that visual reminder, we forget the urgency of improving ourselves. Even emotionally, questions, we require upgrading. Think of someone who gets angered easily. The slightest inconvenience sets them off. Late food, slow Wi-Fi, a wrong message from someone. You'll see them shouting, complaining, questions, reacting instantly. If that same person updated their emotional intelligence, the way they update their phone's security patches, their relationships would flourish. Questions. An upgraded version of you can respond better, understand deeper, and communicate smarter. Consider relationships. When a phone app crashes, we immediately update it or reinstall it. Questions. But when relationships crash due to misunderstandings, ego, or lack of communication, we rarely think, maybe I need to upgrade my listening skills, my compassion, my patience. Instead, questions, we blame the other person. Imagine how peaceful our homes, friendships, and workplaces would be if each person decided to upgrade themselves instead of pointing fingers. Questions. Let's use another daily example, social media. We scroll for hours absorbing content, laughing at memes, reading news, comparing our lives to others. We upgrade our feeds, follow new influencers. Questions. Save aesthetic reels, but when was the last time we upgraded our mindset? What if for every 20 memes you consumed at least one piece of wisdom that could elevate your thinking? Questions. What if for every hour you spent scrolling, you spent just 10 minutes learning something that could change your future? Questions. The version of you that grows daily will always outperform the version of you that scrolls daily. Think of your career. Companies constantly upgrade systems, software, and strategies. New tools, questions, new technologies, new methods. If you don't upgrade your skills, you'll eventually feel like an old software trying to run on new hardware. That's when frustration begins. Questions. But a person who constantly upgrades themselves stays relevant, confident, and adaptable. One more relatable example. Imagine your phone constantly sends notifications saying, questions, software update available, improve performance, fix bugs, increase speed. Now imagine if life sent you such notifications. Questions, patience update available, communication update available, self-discipline update available, confidence update available. Would you press install? Questions. Or would you press remind me later? The truth is life does send us these notifications. Through failures, arguments, setbacks, criticism, and challenges. Questions. But we ignore them because they don't pop up on a bright screen. They pop up in uncomfortable situations. Questions. Improving yourself more often than your gadgets means becoming mindful of these notifications. It means saying, let me not just upgrade what's in my hand, let me upgrade what's in my heart. Questions, my mind and my life. A gadget upgrade lasts for months. A self-upgrade lasts for a lifetime. And the best part, when you upgrade yourself, everything else upgrades automatically. Your career, questions, your relationships, your peace, your happiness. So the next time you think of upgrading your phone, remember there's someone far more powerful waiting for an upgradee. And that someone is you. Questions. In today's hyper-connected world, comparison has become as common as breathing. You open your phone in the morning and instantly step into a stadium where everyone seems to be winning except you. Questions. Someone just bought a new car. Someone is vacationing in Maldives. Someone is eating brunch at a fancy cafe. Someone got promoted. Someone got engaged. Someone is smiling, posing, partying. Questions, succeeding. And you, sitting in your pajamas, sipping chai, start feeling like your whole life is behind schedule. But the truth is simpler. Comparison is the thief of peace. Questions. And it is also the biggest killer of self-improvement. The only real healthy, meaningful comparison is with who you were yesterday. Think of this. Questions. When you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you will always feel inadequate. You don't know their struggles, sacrifices, failures, breakdowns, or lonely nights. Questions. You only see their highlight reel. Life doesn't show you the full movie, it only shows you the trailers. Take a simple daily life example. Imagine two people go to the gym. One is fit, muscular, questions, lifting heavy weights. The other is a beginner struggling to lift even 2 kilograms. If the beginner compares himself to the bodybuilder, he will instantly lose motivation. Questions. But if he compares himself to his own starting point, he'll see progress. Maybe last week he couldn't do 1 push-up, and today he can do 2. That is improvement. Questions. Not compared to someone else, but compared to himself. In academics, the same thing happens. Students often compare their marks with others. Questions. He scored 95, I scored 80. But what if last time you scored 65? That means you improved. You grew, you became better. That is worth celebrating. Questions. Because success is not about being better than others. It's about being better than the person you used to be. Look at social media influencers. We follow people with perfect skin, perfect bodies, questions, perfect homes, perfect routines, perfect smiles, perfect vacations. But you know what we forget? Those are curated moments. A highlight reel. You don't see their bad days, their self-doubt questions, their stress, their insecurities. You only see the best 1% of their life, and then you compare it with the raw, unedited 100% of your own life. Naturally, you feel inferior. But the reality is questions. You are comparing illusions with truth. Let's take a common example: career growth. Your friend gets a salary hike, and suddenly you feel like your own progress is meaningless. Questions. But you forget that everyone's timeline is different. Imagine two plants, a bamboo and a rose. The rose grows quickly, blooms early, and looks beautiful within months. Questions. The bamboo takes years just to sprout. But once it begins to grow, it shoots up several feet in a matter of weeks. If the bamboo compared itself to the rose in its early stages, questions, it would feel worthless. But nature knows every growth has its time. The same is true for people. Some succeed at 20, some at 30, some at 50. Some marry early, some marry late, some not at all. Questions. Some find passion young, some find passion after retirement. Life is not a race, it's a journey. And the only person truly running with you is you. Let's take relationships. Questions. You see a couple on Instagram smiling, hugging, laughing. You compare them with your own relationship and think, questions. Why aren't we like that? But you don't see the arguments they had before clicking the picture. You don't see the challenges they face privately. You don't see their imperfections. Questions. Every relationship has struggles, just not posted online. Here's another daily example: driving. Sometimes you're driving on the highway and someone overtakes you at high speed. Questions. If you start comparing and competing, you'll increase your speed too, maybe even dangerously. But wise drivers know you drive at the speed that is safe for you, not at the speed of others. Questions. Life is similar. You go at your own pace. Some people move faster, some slower. But reaching safely is more important than reaching quickly. There's a beautiful thought. Questions. You can't compare the moon to the sun. They shine when it's their time. If you compare constantly, you will never appreciate your own journey. You'll overlook your own growth. Questions. A person who used to be shy but today confidently speaks up, that is growth. A person who used to procrastinate but today works with discipline, that is growth. Questions. A person who used to lose temper easily but now handles situations calmly, that is growth. These victories are invisible to the world but deeply meaningful to you. Questions. Comparing yourself to others creates jealousy, insecurity, anxiety, and low self-esteem. Comparing yourself to your past creates motivation, confidence, gratitude, and progress. Questions. You only need to ask one question. Am I better than who I was yesterday? If yes, celebrate. If no, work on yourself. But don't waste your precious energy watching someone else's lane. Questions. The real race is within. Imagine waking up every day and deciding, today I'll be 1% better than yesterday. Just 1%. In your minds, your skills, your attitude. Questions. 1% daily growth becomes 365% growth in a year. That is the magic of comparing with yourself. So let others live their lives. Let others run their races. Let others shine in their time. Questions. Your only competition, your only comparison is the person you were yesterday. And that person is waiting for you to grow. Questions. We all have flaws. Some we hide, some we deny, some we are afraid to accept. But what we often forget is this: our flaws are not failures. They are raw material for future strength. Questions. Just as a diamond is born from pressure, a lotus from mud, and a sword from fire, our challenges shape us in ways comfort never will. Think of a cracked cup. Most people would throw it away. Questions. But a creative mind uses that crack as a design element, paints around it, turns it into art. The flaw becomes a feature. Life works exactly the same way. Questions. The moments we break are the moments life injects wisdom into us. The moments we struggle are the moments life builds our inner muscles. Let's take a daily life example. Questions. Imagine you're someone who gets nervous speaking in front of people. Your hands shake, your voice trembles, your heart races. This flaw can make you feel embarrassed. But what if questions? Instead of running from it, you practice step by step, speaking in a mirror, talking to small groups, joining a club, improving slowly. Over time, questions. The very thing that once scared you could become your greatest power. Some of the world's best speakers were once terrified to speak. They didn't eliminate fear, they transformed it. Questions. Take another example. Maybe you are someone who gets emotional quickly. People say you're too sensitive. But what is sensitivity? It is the ability to feel deeply, to understand emotions, questions, to connect genuinely. In a world full of people who hide their feelings behind masks, sensitivity is not a weakness. It is compassion, it is empathy, it is humanity. Questions. If you learn to balance your emotions instead of suppressing them, that sensitivity becomes your strength. You become the friend who understands, the partner who cares, the leader who listens. Flaws. Questions. When refined become gifts. Think about a person who talks too much. Everyone tells them, you're too talkative. But that same talkative nature, when polished, questions, can make them excellent communicators, teachers, negotiators, leaders, motivators. They don't need to silence their nature, they need to shape it. Or take someone who overthinks. Questions. While overthinking can be stressful, it also means you have the ability to analyze deeply. With the right guidance, that same tendency can make you wise, strategic, and thoughtful. Questions. It's all about direction. Your flaw is like fire. Use it well, and it becomes warmth and light. Use it wrong, and it burns you. Let's look at nature. Bamboo bends in storms, it doesn't break. Questions. That flexibility is seen as a weakness until the storm arrives. The rigid oak tree, proud of its strength, falls. The bamboo survives. Questions. What we call weakness sometimes becomes strength in the right moment. Now think of your workplace. Maybe you're slow at tasks. People tease you. Questions. You take too long. But what if that slowness actually means you're more detail-oriented, more careful, more accurate? A fast worker may finish early, but a precise worker finishes correctly. Questions. The world needs both. The key is recognizing your flaw, understanding its hidden value, and applying it in the right area. Let's take another relatable example: failures. Questions. Some people treat failure like a flaw, something to hide. But failure is one of the most powerful teachers in existence. A person who has failed knows more than a person who has never tried. Questions. Failure builds resilience, teaches humility, sharpens judgment, and strengthens character. The greatest entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, and leaders have all failed. Questions. Their greatness didn't come despite their flaws. It came because of them. Children learn to walk by falling. Their flaw, lack of balance, becomes strength through repetition. They don't cry, questions, quit, or think they're not capable. They fall, laugh, and try again. But as adults, we fear falling. We fear judgment. We fear starting again. Questions. We forget that every powerful person in the world was once a beginner with flaws. Consider this beautiful real-life example. Gold has impurities when it's found. No one looks at raw gold and says, questions. It's useless. It goes through fire, pressure, purification. The impurities don't make it worthless. They give it potential. Human flaws are the same. They are not signs of weakness, questions, but indicators of what you can become once refined. Some people are introverts. They get labeled as shy or reserved. But introverts are often the most thoughtful, observant, and creative individuals. Questions. Their strength lies in depth, not noise. When introverts embrace their nature instead of fighting it, they produce masterpieces. Books, art, inventions, ideas. Some people struggle with discipline. Questions. They procrastinate, delay, avoid discomfort. But once they learn discipline, not by force but by habit, they become unstoppable. Questions. Because a person who has learned self-control after battling laziness is far stronger than someone who never struggled with it. Life doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be authentic. Questions, it asks you to take what you have, the good, the bad, the cracks, and shape it into something meaningful. A crackpot waters flowers. A broken crayon still colors. Questions. A damaged seed grows into the most resilient tree. Your flaws are not your limitations. Your flaws are your opportunities. All you need is willingness. Willingness to accept, willingness to learn. Questions. Willingness to transform. The day you stop hiding your flaws and start understanding them, that day your inner power awakens. Remember, the world doesn't need perfect people. Questions. It needs real people, imperfect, growing, evolving, and brave enough to turn flaws into strengths. You don't need to become someone else. You only need to become a better, stronger, questions, wiser version of yourself. Questions. If life were a warm, cozy blanket, the comfort zone would be the soft corner where we curl up and feel safe. No risks, no challenges, no fear, no discomfort. Just routine, familiarity, and ease. Questions. But here's the truth that every successful person eventually discovers: nothing meaningful grows inside the comfort zone. Everything extraordinary begins the moment you step out of that warm, questions, predictable space. Think about how babies learn to walk. At first, crawling is their comfort zone. It's safe, easy, and familiar. But the moment they pull themselves up, wobble, questions, and take their first step, they grow. They fall, they get hurt, they cry, but they learn. They never say, walking is hard, let me go back to crawling forever. No questions. They break their comfort zone daily until walking becomes natural. Adults forget this simple secret of growth that children instinctively understand. Let's take a simple daily life example. Questions. Waking up early, your alarm rings, your comfort zone whispers, 5 more minutes, which eventually becomes 30. But the moment you push yourself to get up, questions. Even when every cell in your body wants to sleep, you grow a little. You become a person who does what needs to be done, not what is easy. Or think about fitness. Questions. Lifting light weights that don't challenge you, that's comfort. But lifting something slightly heavier, pushing one more rep, running one extra minute, that's growth. Questions. Muscles don't grow in comfort. They grow when stretched, stressed, and challenged. The same principle applies to your character, mindset, discipline, and dreams. Questions. Have you ever noticed how people love staying in familiar routines? Same job, same habits, same places, same conversations. Not because they love them, but because they are comfortable. Questions. Yet these same people feel stuck, bored, or unfulfilled. Why? Because comfort feels good temporarily, but suffocates you slowly. Growth feels uncomfortable temporarily, but liberates you permanently. Questions. Picture this: you've worked in a job for years. You know the tasks, the people, the systems. You can do everything with your eyes closed. But deep down, you feel you're not learning anymore. Questions. You're not challenged. You're simply repeating yesterday. The thought of switching careers, learning something new, or starting a business scares you. Questions. That fear is exactly the sign that growth is waiting for you. Fear is not a stop sign. It is a direction board pointing to where your next level lies. Or take relationships. Having the same arguments. Questions. Repeating the same patterns, avoiding difficult conversations, that's comfort zone. But sitting down and honestly addressing issues, expressing your feelings, apologizing, questions, or forgiving, that's uncomfortable. Yet that discomfort leads to deeper understanding, stronger bonds, and emotional maturity. Let's consider learning new skills. Questions. Many adults avoid learning because they fear looking foolish. They say, I'm not good at technology, or I can't dance, or I'm too old to learn. But the truth is, questions. The discomfort of being a beginner is exactly what sparks new growth. Think of your parents or grandparents learning how to use smartphones. At first, they struggled. They pressed random buttons, questions, opened apps they didn't understand, and asked you 100 questions. But step by step, they learned. Now they send WhatsApp forwards before sunrise. Questions. That's growth born from stepping outside comfort. Even emotionally, growth demands discomfort. Practicing patience when irritated, staying calm when provoked. Questions. Forgiving when hurt. These are some of the hardest things to do. Your comfort zone is to react instantly, argue, defend, or withdraw. But when you stretch yourself emotionally, you grow wiser. Questions. Stronger and more peaceful. Let's take a beautiful example from nature. A seed cannot remain a seed forever. For it to grow into a tree, it must break open. The shell cracks, the seed splits. Questions. Darkness surrounds it underground. But that discomfort leads to transformation. Without breaking, it cannot grow. Without darkness, it cannot reach the light. Now think about your dreams. Questions. That business idea you keep postponing, that talent you ignore, that book you want to write, that skill you've been wanting to learn. These are seeds inside you. Questions. But as long as you keep them in the comfort of someday, they will never grow. Dreams need courage, and courage always begins with discomfort. Have you ever jumped into cold water? Questions. The first few seconds feel unbearable, but then your body adjusts. You begin to enjoy it. Life is similar. The first step outside your comfort zone feels scary. Your mind resists, your body hesitates. Questions. Your heart races, but the moment you stick with it, you adapt. What was once uncomfortable becomes normal, and then you grow again. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Questions. Every champion was once afraid. Every master was once clueless. Their greatness didn't come from comfort. It came from stretching themselves every single day. Imagine your life as a circle. Questions. Inside the circle is your comfort zone. Just outside it lies everything you desire. Success, confidence, wisdom, strength, opportunities, new experiences. But to reach them, questions. You must step out of the circle. Even a small step counts. You don't need to make giant leaps. Tiny steps outside comfort create massive transformations over time. The truth is, questions. You are capable of far more than you think. But you'll only discover your potential when you leave the soft cushion of comfort and walk into the unfamiliar. That's where growth lives. Questions. That's where transformation happens. That's where your best self is waiting. So don't fear discomfort. Use it as a compass. Questions. When something scares you but also excites you, that's exactly what you should pursue. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Questions. And your growth begins the moment you take that brave step forward. Questions. Life becomes extraordinary not because of massive achievements, but because of small, meaningful actions repeated consistently. Questions. And one of the most powerful habits that can completely transform your life is asking yourself 3 simple questions at the end of each day. What did I learn today? What did I improve today? Questions. Whom did I help today? These questions may look simple, but they carry the power to reshape your character, your mindset, your relationships, and your overall direction in life. Questions. Let's start with the first question. What did I learn today? Learning is not limited to schools, colleges, or online courses. Learning happens every single day if we choose to notice. Questions. Maybe you learned patience while waiting in a long queue at the supermarket. Maybe you learned empathy when you saw someone struggling on the road. Questions. Maybe you learned calmness while dealing with an unexpected situation. Every day life teaches us something. But most people are too busy, too distracted, or too stressed to absorb the lessons. Questions. Imagine you are stuck in traffic after a long, tiring day. Your first instinct might be frustration. You could honk, complain, or feel irritated. But the moment you ask questions, what is life teaching me here? The answer becomes clear: patience. You realize traffic is not in your control, but your reaction is. Suddenly, the irritation reduces. You start breathing easier. Questions. This is how daily learning works. It doesn't always come in big moments, it often comes disguised as small irritations. Learning daily sharpens your mind. It keeps you growing. Questions. A person who stops learning is like a stagnant pond, still, unchanging, and eventually stagnant. But a person who learns each day is like a river, flowing, alive, evolving. Now the second question. Questions. What did I improve today? Improvement doesn't have to be drastic. It doesn't mean you must completely transform in one day. Improvement means progress. Even if it's small. Questions. Even if it's invisible to the world, even if only you know about it. Suppose you are trying to become healthier. Improvement today might mean drinking one extra glass of water. Questions. Walking an extra 5 minutes, or avoiding junk food just once. These things look small, but they build discipline. If you are trying to control your anger. Questions. Improvement might mean you stayed silent for 10 seconds before reacting. It might mean you walked away from an argument instead of escalating it. Questions. It might mean you chose peace instead of proving a point. That is improvement. If you are trying to become more productive, improvement might mean finishing one small task you've been delaying. Questions. Organizing your desk or planning tomorrow better. Improvement could even be avoiding something negative, like not gossiping, not complaining, or not wasting time mindlessly. Questions. Think of improvement like brushing your teeth. You brush daily not because others notice, but because it keeps you clean and healthy. Similarly, questions. Daily self-improvement cleans your character and strengthens your spirit. Now the third question, whom did I help today? This is where true fulfillment lies. Questions. Helping someone doesn't always mean giving money or solving big problems. Sometimes the simplest gestures create the biggest impact. Maybe you smiled at a tired delivery boy. Questions. Maybe you held the door open for someone. Maybe you listened to a friend who needed to talk. Maybe you encouraged a colleague who was stressed. Questions. Maybe you forgave someone who didn't even know they hurt you. Helping doesn't require wealth. It requires willingness. And the beautiful thing is this, when you help someone. Questions. You don't just make their day better, you make your own heart lighter. Imagine you are at a busy grocery store. The cashier is overwhelmed. Instead of complaining, you tell them. Questions. You're doing a great job. That one sentence can change their entire mood. You didn't give money, you gave kindness. You didn't do much, but you did enough. Questions. Or imagine you see someone struggling to carry bags. You help them. 2 minutes of your time, but maybe a whole evening of relief for them. Even listening is a form of helping. Questions. In a world full of noise, being someone who listens is a gift. People remember those who make them feel understood. When you ask yourself daily whom you help. Questions. You automatically start behaving with more compassion. You become more present, more empathetic, more aware of others' struggles. And that awareness makes you a better human being. Questions. Now imagine doing these 3 things every day. You learn daily, so your mind grows. You improve daily, so your character grows. You help daily, so your heart grows. Put together. Questions. Your entire life starts evolving, not in sudden leaps, but in gentle, steady steps. Just like a plant grows quietly but surely, your life also starts blooming. And the best part. Questions. These 3 questions keep you grounded. They prevent you from comparing your life with others. They shift your focus inward, towards who you are becoming, not what the world thinks of you. Questions. When you begin to live with these questions, you stop chasing perfection and start embracing progress. You stop waiting for big opportunities and start creating small improvements. Questions. You stop living only for yourself and start contributing to others. Each day ends with purpose. Each morning begins with direction. And each moment becomes a chance to grow. So tonight. Questions. Before sleeping, ask yourself, what did I learn today? What did I improve today? Whom did I help today? These three questions can turn ordinary days into extraordinary growth. And eventually, questions. They can turn an ordinary life into an extraordinary journey.